This is a 1984 Fly or Die podcast.
For this, it was an album that had Hand in Hand on it, as it says, a single featuring Second to None.
Yeah, Hand in Hand came on. It's on my iPhone. It's on my iTunes, and it keeps coming up in the car, and it just feels amazing. The bass in that song feels amazing. Forget how it sounds. It's like a rich, thorough sound to it.
He also produced a song on there. It was like an Elder Bar solo song.
Oh, really?
And it was just, I love it, man.
You should have just done so much. You should have done produced everybody's records back then.
Yeah,
not just rag records, man.
Because that album was just so funky to me. Even the album before that, how quick is the name? Safe and Sound.
Yeah,
a Safe and Sound album was fire. Like this song, Dollars and Cents, was dope. But if you heard the demo version of that song, hands down, crazy. Just melodic, and it was just. There's no other producer on the West Coast that ever like grabbed me like Quick did. I mean, everyone says Dre's the best one out the West Coast, and Dre's putting work in. But to me, my favorite producer out the West Coast is DJ Quick.
Yeah, really, okay.
And then Battle Cat.
Yeah.
And who else can I mention? There's a lot of people from LA who are producers that I love from back then, but it's just but Quick and Battle Cat were two of my favorites, and like DJ Pooh did great joints, Sir Jinx did great joints.
Sir Jinx is my personal favorite. Those that he just replaced the Bomb Squad on Death Certificate.
Yeah,
I think he might have done it better. He might out Bomb Squad the Bomb Squad. I think Death Certificate is my favorite all time rap album, period, just because this is a beautiful record. Fearless. Ice Cube was just fearless on that record. And he won at everybody. He won at Black America. He won at White America. He won at gays. He won at women. He won just how he felt. As profane and disturbing as that was, it's just how he felt. You know, it was like at its purest. The music at its most purest form. And it came at the time, you know, hip hop was Reagan. It was all Reagan up until, you know, 89. Reagan's term was up. And Bush came in, and Bush couldn't keep the fairy tale going.
Nope.
And things really soured. And, you know, the police brutality and all the
riots popping off.
Everything that was wrong in the world just kind of came to light. I mean, we all knew. We all had a grip on it. But, you know, just for everybody, for the public at large, it's just like you could not keep that up. And, you know, Bush was a spook, CIA spook, and he was talking about the New World Order, and people was kind of like shook because of that. So things got really real in 89, 90. And that's why that cusp was so amazing. That's just a part of it, man. It's like people just... The expression was kind of pure, I think. Everybody was getting on, so it was before the 40 and the Blunt movement. And I always talk about, you know, what went wrong. Or what went right for a lot of people. What a lot of people's I don't know where things just kind of dropped off and kind of became cliche. And then Cypress Hill's second album, Black Sunday, and it kind of led on that they were about weed, and it was just something to listen to while you got high.
Yeah.
And in college, you went to a predominantly white college, and then you start seeing, everybody's into Nirvana and everything, and they were feeling REM. It's a crazy time for music. Like every genre was just flourishing between 89 and late 94, 95.
Mm-hmm.
And hip hop for those white kids was just something else to get high to. Just like jazz before R&B before that.
Mm-hmm.
Or R&B and after jazz. It was a weird thing, you know what I mean? It's like, gosh, there's so much more to it than 40s and blunts, but that's what you pick up on. And if I like the beat, then go ahead and play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big thing I want to talk about. So what do you think is the most adored hip hop album of the 90s? Record, song?
Oh God! All right, of the 90s, the most adored album.
Most adored record.
Illmatic. That's not even my favorite album, but everybody talks about Illmatic as if that was like
right. You
the
talk
album.
about it was written.
I feel like it was written. Yeah.
Which for me, it was written was a big sign of things. It was overproduced for me.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, it's
Track
very
masters.
smooth.
Yeah.
Track masters, yeah, and the track masters sound emerged. Incredibly competent producers,
Mm-hmm.
like studio, but it sounded like the studio to me. It's just like very heavily produced. Illmatic doesn't really work as an album for me. It works as a collection of singles. It just doesn't flow as an album does.
Right.
And that's just the nature of the music, and it was a very tightly, carefully curated album.
Different producers that he had, all of them come from different places. Q-Tip, Large Professor.
I always say I would have appreciated Illmatic more if Large Professor produced it through and through and made mistakes, allowed mistakes into it. Okay. But, we got the Illmatic that we got, and it's an amazing thing, and I played this Duff thing. I don't even listen to it anymore, so I played it to death. I played it out for myself. I'm bored by it, but that's kind of like my own doing.
Right, playing to the ground.
But everybody plays it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So could we go add the list? Could we have Illmatic? We could add the first Wu-Tang album, 36 Chambers, because I feel like you're not hip hop unless you like that album.
I like the Gravediggers album than I do into the Wu-Tang. But that's just because Prince Paul had more experience in production,
right,
than the RZA did, and the two of them worked on that record. And again, Enter the Wu-Tang it's played a lot, and it's referenced a lot, but nobody really talks about the Gravediggers. And Gravediggers with 6 Feet Deep, the U.S. title, original title, Nigga Mortis, greatest rap record title all time. This was as it was released in the UK, and I'll hold that cassette sealed until I want to be buried with that.
Nigga Mortis.
Nigga Mortis is like the best, best album time of all time. Yeah, it's weird. Like everybody has a top 10, and I will name a record I think is better. Like people will think, people always say, Straight Outta Compton, Death Certificate is always better. Like I'm not thinking of a related album that might be better.
Right.
And in the Wu-Tang, I always like the Gravediggers better. It's just a fresher sound to me.
Well, people say the Chronic is definitely up on the list too, right? People say that.
People say the Chronic, yeah. That's a hard act to follow.
Doggy Style was like, I guess, the heir apparent to that.
Yeah, Doggy Style. Yeah, it has more songs that I appreciate.
Yeah.
Weird thing about Doggy Style, I hated the cover.
Word?
I never liked Doggy Style cover, so I never got the album. It's a weird thing. Okay. It's just part of that 90s consumerism. It's just like, I don't like this cover. I'll sleep on it.
Urbanized.
Same thing with the Odd Squad. We're out on Rap A Lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cheesy cover, but it was where what's his name? What's the Houston rapper?
Scarface.
Not Scarface. He's kind of a pothead rapper.
Oh, Devin the Dude.
Yes, that was. I think he debuted on the Odd Squad record, and I didn't buy it because I didn't like the cover of it. But I've come to love Doggy Style because I can stream it now,
Right.
without having the cover on my show. Yeah, it was a weird thing, man. I just didn't like. I was like maybe they didn't put the effort into the album and they did at the cover. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You always make those weird connections. It doesn't make sense now, but at the time, it's just I remember looking at it like, I'll pass. And it was a weird thing about Doggy Style when it came out. Everybody was anticipating. It was the first rap record that everybody was anticipating.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Illmatic, because they had 5 mics and everything, but not everybody read the source, especially in the Midwest. Everything was radio based, pretty much. For those cats. And I was the only one that had a subscription to the source. I remember, some people, everybody wanted my copy or they get it at the record store. But yeah, and the Illmatic came out and said, "Oh, he's going to be the new Rakim," and people weren't really that impressed. But again, that was the West Coast sound was taking over. Mm-hmm. Then Doggy Style, it was a lot of hype about it. Then it dropped and nobody bought it that Tuesday. Y'all been waiting for it. It's everybody was waiting for somebody else to buy it so they can hear it. People were still really apprehensive, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Then the hype, 5 years later, is the hype caught up to things, so people were just going to buy it regardless. It was weird. I'd be at the record store, and the dude would come in and buy CDs, and throw away the jewel case and the cover art, and just put the CD in the card changer. Culture was changing. And nobody knew album titles anymore. It's oh, I like number 3. What do you think? Number 3 and number 7. Number 7 is my shit. I'm okay, you know the title of these songs? It's no, not really. All right. Weird, man. It's a weird thing.
But now that you mentioned that, but I feel like that kind of fed into what happens now. Whereas I remember back in 2010, for example, Joe Budden had dropped Mute Music 4, right? And on the Twitter and the net, he had a big internet following. Uh-huh. And I asked people, I said, okay, it's been about a week. I said, you guys aren't talking about this album at all. You guys aren't saying shit about this project at all. You guys were just talking about, oh man, great for this album to come out. It's been 5 to 7 days.
I miss that.
What's going on? Why aren't you guys talking about it? So now an album will drop, I swear to you, an album will drop today. Mm-hmm. It'll be forgotten about 2 days from now.
Yeah,
3 days from now.
Today. It'll light up Twitter. It was trending on Twitter for 8 hours, maybe 2 days if you were lucky.
Yeah, that's it. And
Drake will put something out and, it will trend for 48 hours and everybody's talking about it for, maybe a week.
Yep.
So that disposability is kind of really accelerated now.
It has. To the point that even when music videos used to be events.
Yes.
Now they're just.
Well, that's how you get them. They're not programmed through MTV. You can just access it whenever you can.
Right. And
I'll watch it later. I'll watch it now. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You're not watching it on the TV. You're watching it on your phone. So the sound and the vision is reduced drastically. Well, it's a big thing, man. It's and I'm talking about that balance during the cusp. Everybody had the package. Okay, you had the street album. You had your demo. Mm-hmm. You shop your demo. You get your first single, and they might shoot a video. Your first single, if you're lucky, they'll sign you, and they get you the deal. Your debut album comes out, and you have 3 videos off of it. And it may not be the best singles, but they're all chosen. So that was in that structure was there. And so when I'm in that back room at my grandmother's watching cable, watching BET, watching MTV, watching The Box, and any of the shows that was on Friday night, Nia Peoples, Showtime at the Apollo, it was so much on TV. Even local shows like Crush Rap or Pump It Up, syndicated. And you knew what to expect. Like this artists not so popular, they only get 2 videos. You know what I mean? They getting cut off after the second video. But it was an album.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the 90s, it was funny. You had the DJ Premier promo cut that just turned into an album cut when the actual album cut. So you had the street promo. Then you had the radio jam, which is definitely more polished. And, you know, the other singles came after that. Just because, you know, we want to show you that this artist hasn't sold out. So this is the DJ Premier promo, whatever street. It was a hardcore kind of rap. And then the actual follow-up was a lot softer, a lot more accessible.
You know what explains it? Because I remember, like, let's talk about it, like late 90s.
Happened a lot.
When Nas put out, like, the I Am album, he had Nas's, like, the premiere joint.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he had the other singles, like Hate Me Now, I think came out after that one. And that was on that
I forget.
I Am album, the other singles. But then I remember when Jay-Z had volume 1, he had A Million and One Questions as like the street single for that one. Then he had the City Is Mine as the actual single.
Right.
Then I remember in volume 3, same thing. So Ghetto was the premier street joint. Absolutely. But the main one was like Put Your Hands Up featuring Bean Siegel and the Mill.
Yeah.
Wow. See, that makes sense now.
So that was, you know, I would just see these trends coming. You know, it's really blatant. Nobody really talked about it then. We didn't have social media, Twitter. Somebody might have written a letter to the source, to rap pages, to Rap Sheet. Those are my 3 go-tos back then, by the way. Rap pages was better than the source most of the time. The source had the rap, but rap pages had better photography with B+, and the journalism was for an era. Mm-hmm. They had a really solid like couple years in like 95, 96, I think. Everything's a blur now, so it might not actually be the years. But yeah, so then you had dubplate R&B, and that's when I really started tuning out. That was a big thing for me. Forget the shiny suits, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fugees come out, you know, Blended on Reality, first album. Crazy group, crazy New Jersey, hip-hop New Jersey, for me, has the biggest concentration of pure talent as far as hip-hop is concerned.
Yeah.
So many great artists come from Jersey.
Queen Latifah, Apache, you know,
from Latifah to Redman to
91 Nature,
yeah,
you know, Outsiders,
Tretch.
Yep.
Tretch might be the most influential rapper of all time after Kane, I think. Big story there. There's a whole another podcast.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, Fugees, Blended on Reality, the follow up and Score, of course. Nobody was really checking that at the time. I was ready. Had my subscription. I was like, oh, it's coming out. I got it on that Tuesday. Everybody's like, well, what is that? Because Blended on Reality didn't do that well. No, that's the Fugees. And I listened to it maybe once. I like the singles. I love it. It's an amazing song. White Cliff's production was amazing. L Boogie's amazing. Pros. Anyway.
Pros is Pros, yo. Pros is doing Pros things on every single record he's ever been on.
Pros is the third guy.
Always.
And Pros was there.
You don't go Superstar.
So, you know, Fuji La came out. And I think. So, Killing Me Softly was the second.
One time.
Right.
Yeah, fucking single.
Do you like that single?
Killing Me. It annoyed me.
Did it?
When I was a kid on the radio, like I went from hearing Fuji La, I'm like, this is it, right? Then they had the one joint, the Ready or Not. I'm like, all right, cool.
Ready or Not, yes.
But then Killing Me Softly, it would come on. I'm like, oh, come on, man, I want to hear this because like they would play it during like upbeat moments of the day. Like,
so you like the tempo of it?
Yeah, and plus I just wasn't like. I mean, don't get me wrong. The original song, Roberta Flack, is a great joint. Yes, but it was just like I want to hear this, man.
Because it was a downer subject wise.
Yeah, I mean, not subject wise. It was just like I'm sitting in the car and I'm just my song is please finish up. I get back to some upbeat shit, please. It's just I don't know. The song wasn't a favorite of mine. Even to this very day, I'm like, I might hear if I hear in the club, and like if I was like back in Fluid in the circa of 2006.
Yeah,
I'm with a couple women around. I'm gonna sing around.
Along,
and we gonna sing it. Yeah, because this is in the air.
Boogie.
Yeah, but like back in '96, me in the backseat of my parents' car. Hell no.
Right. Well, for me, "Killing Me Softly" is there's no rapping on that record.
Not at all.
One of the biggest hip hop records, and that's fine. You don't have to have rapping on a record for it to be a rap record. It's just sonically a thing.
Right.
Bjork's "Alarm Call" is a great hip hop record. She has hip hop joints on her records. Sonically she's not rapping, she's singing over it. But "Killing Me Softly" is Beneath the Apple Bum for people who hated rap.
Because I heard the bum, 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 bum. That's actually a sample on the side of the joint. Yeah.
And it's a dub, it's Wyclef's dub plate. He exploited it on his second record. It got really tired. Second solo record. But his first record, The Carnival, was amazing, but it was dub plate. So, you have the Jamaican dub plate where you just recreate the instrumental with a different vocal, right? So it was dub plate version of Beneath the Apple Bum. And there was no real rapping on it. It was a cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a brilliant record. It's a beautiful record. And that was the beginning of the end for me. I saw it. So a lot of R&B, became kind of like a normal thing.
Right.
So next thing you know, Total, I think it was Total Jack South Bronx was singing over South Bronx. And Tank was singing over PSK. I might be getting records mixed up. I think I'm pretty solid. Because they're R&B records, I really wasn't checking for them. They just irked me.
That was Case. Over the Touch Me, Tease Me.
Case, Tank,
Gotcha.
Tomato.
Gotcha.
Case, yeah, you're right. Because that Nutty Professor soundtrack.
Mary J. Blige was singing on it.
Songs that were not on the movie.
Foxy Brown was rapping on it. Mary J. Blige back. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Things stopped making sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like none of these records are in the movie. It's just a promotional tool for the movie. Yeah, "Killing Me Softly" was, everybody loved that song. Nobody liked Beneath or nobody was up on Beneath the Apple Bum.
That's crazy. Cause I'm thinking about it now. A lot of the songs that I heard, it was like, yeah, because there were many. That whole era was like not just hip hop, was just like rappers sampling old joints and making it new, right? It was also because Diddy was catching a lot of flack for that during that time period about taking the old stuff and using it.
Yeah,
but like everybody was doing it because I never picked up on the fact that dub play R&B. You had these different songs that were taking like old hip hop beats and it was running with it.
The next, gosh, it just never stopped for me. It's like, well, I've heard these records before with better vocals, with more, for me.
Yeah.
I know these records, and then you had Ashanti.
With the Foolish record, when she sampled the Switch joint that Biggie sampled.
Yeah. It was Ashanti, and then somebody remade
Foolish.
One More Chance, which was really weird because I have I like the El DeBarge.
Yeah.
If I want to listen to DeBarge, why don't I listen to DeBarge? I don't need you making a R&B remake of Biggie's remake of El DeBarge. It already exists as an R&B record.
So it was El DeBarge. That wasn't Switch. I get them confused because they're brothers. But that was DeBarge. All right, cool.
DeBarge,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was, things just like stopped making sense. And then it all came down to, the Owners release party. The Owners tour with Gangstar.
Gangsta album I like that album too, man.
I think it's formulaic in retrospect.
Mm-hmm.
All band, Primo's music, but it always works for me.
That was like 04 too, right? Was it
something like that.
02, 04?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm at Transit, and they're headlining the tour. They're touring that record, and K Slay is opening. And it's like, oh, that's a weird choice, but K Slay was the mixtape.
Drama King, yeah.
Yeah, Drama King mixtape. It was the mixtape DJ of that moment. And he opened and just terrible, stung up the joint. I mean, he was great for what he was playing. It was just wasn't not his audience. At one point, he's like, he's playing Beyonce for the Gangstar's audience, and everybody's like, yo, change that, which is another story. But what, y'all don't like Beyonce? You don't like Beyonce? Y'all must be gay or something. And we was like, nah, we like to look at it. We ain't listen to her music. Mm-hmm. It was a funny conversation. So, and at that, it wasn't. It was just uncomfortable, and it was a long set because he wasn't playing anything we wanted to listen to. He wasn't playing any hardcore underground rap.
Right.
He wasn't playing nothing for Gangstar's audience. So Gangstar came out and usually they ripped it, but it's always been a bad night for me in retrospect, because not only K Slay and the audience, but the audience itself, man, started getting on my nerves. Everybody wanted to do a cipher, and they all wanted to get high. Everybody was all about the blunts in the parking lot, and just ciphering and beatbox. Yo, you remember this beat? And just going into the beat. I'm just like, oh. So, I'm just like, got alienated from all aspects of hip hop at that night, 2004, and it's just kind of like, and it's hard. It's been hard to like give up. You always want to tune in, and Odd Future will always get my money. Tyler will always get my money.
He's a hell of a performer.
And just he has that dry wit.
His last album, I truly dug it. It was like Flower, Scumbag, Boy, whatever. Like,
yeah.
But it's a dope joint.
I haven't even got into it yet. It's just like even from the Goblin, the first record. So he'll get my money. The Digital Age, all my favorites, they just were not putting out stuff that I wanted to do. I mean, the industry just fell apart. And people always knock the recording industry is phony and it's just drying us up. And Chuck D had this great prophecy about the digital age, and you'll be able to publish and make your own music. And it sounds like an amazing thing, and it sounds like the right way to go. But the reality was just a lot of noise. It just produced a lot of noise.
It's the Wild Wild West now.
Nothing organized and really self-indulgence. I can't stand self-indulgent music. You need a good producer to production. I mean, great artists, competent artists, inspired artists are great. You need, every good book needs a good editor. You need to trim a lot of that fat.
So it's kind of like hip hop or artists today. Actually, overall, I can really say they needed a Quincy Jones.
They just, and I'm don't even think I'm being a pessimist and saying it's never going to happen, but it's just we know what rap records sound like. And, like I said, Marley Marl's a Quasar. He hated rap. He knew what rap records sound like. Mm-hmm. He hated it. He said, well, why can't they sound like this? And then put, production into it. And then for the next 5 years, everybody was trying not to make anybody. You're deliberately trying not to make anybody. The people that really love music, deliberately trying not to make anything that anybody else sounded like. I think De La Soul is my favorite artist in that respect. And they had a semi-veteran in Prince Paul, who, DJ for Stetson Sonic. Mm-hmm. Behind them, you know what I mean? And it was like the perfect thing, because they were kind of like, they're from Long Island. They weren't from from Queensbridge or these projects.
It was from Roosevelt, right?
Yeah, from Long Island, and they had a really bugged sense of humor, and they really spoke to me. You know what I mean? Everybody has that one group that really, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. they really identify with, De La was it for me. Weren't even necessarily the first native tongue group. That was the Jungle Brothers. And I like the Jungle Brothers a lot, but De La was just everything when they just came out. And still, till the day, it's always left field. You never know what to expect. I don't know what the lyrics are for Plug Tuning. That was like the record I first fell in love with.
Nice.
I've heard it 1,000 times. I don't know what the lyrics are. I can put them together. I know what they sound like. I couldn't recite them to save my life. It's always just an enigma to me. You know what I mean?
What's your favorite De La Soul album?
Favorite De La Soul album? It's still 3 Feet High and Rising to me.
Okay.
Balloon Mind. Everybody loves De La Soul is Dead, but it's kind of like it's a weird thing to me. It's like it's just too many layers to it. Cause they did the record and then it's kind of like an Inception thing where they did this storybook around the record.
Mm-hmm.
So the original record they started instead of where 3 Feet High and Rising was the game show. De La Soul is Dead is the record about they started a radio station and then these other kids are listening to that record.
Squirrel with the DJ on
exactly.
that shit, yeah.
And so kids find this De La Soul record about De La Soul, starting this radio station and they're like dissing it during the record.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an amazing thing. It's like just a feat of just storytelling and sequencing that nobody's matched, but it just kind of detracts from the actual music. But Balloon Mind State is a really interesting. It's an album about mantras, I Am I Be and Stick a Bush, and they just chant. There's all these chants on that record, and they just came out in the same. They were always out of their element, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They came out during the the Paid in Full era, with their own thing, and then when things were changing in the 90s, and it was the 40s and blunts, they were just running through the trenches, the Patty Duke, and always doing something completely different from what everybody else was doing, deliberately and coming off, not being different for the sake of being different, but being great also. Yeah. So
Guru was on that record too, and I loved him on that record, man. Running through the trenches.
Just they always make incredible music. So yeah, but again, De La singles always reach out to me more than a lot of than the albums do. There's only like 10. I can name 20 albums that like my top 20 albums are the only albums, like you know what I mean, front to back classics and stuff. Mecca and the Soul Brother. I think Pete Rock and Seal Smooth were like the only. Luckily, they only did 2 albums, that were front to back, just solid records. And I think, Pete Rock is just so musical. Just such a music lover. Q-Tip, too. He's a manic about music. Music before everything else. Right. Image and everything he's mad about. He's passionate. You saw his rant about the Grammys and stuff. He's really passionate about music. And he went to the history of it. How, Led Zeppelin never got nominated, and Jimmy and all these things, and it's just so it's always come down to a battle. It's not about generations, because we had records that we hated too. We just had this concept of play it out. So the 12th time we heard Funky Drummer on the beat, we didn't stop listening to that record. We made sure that record wasn't a hit. Whereas now it's just, I don't know, it's that 808 kicks in and it's just like, yo, so-and-so drops a record. Now we'll tune in. I'll stream the record. I do 808 roulette. I'll play each track until the 808 kicks in, until that cadence, that rapping cadence kicks in, and I'll switch through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like certain things that Future's done, and good music will always find you. It doesn't matter. But it's just hip hop shouldn't be boring, and it bores me. It's weird, man. It's like youth culture should be in your face. It should upset you, and You know, it's just like modern hip hop just upsets me for the wrong reason. It just bores me.
But I
That's
think
upsetting.
the reason why I had a thought earlier when we were talking, because I think that if you look at the eras that you came up in, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you had the PE, you had these death certificates, and there's American Most Wanted, and different albums that were coming out. Even like Rakim's Follow the Leader, when like 7% of knowledge was like running rampant in hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
There was something going on in the culture, like that they were fighting against. They were always in a state of rebellion. Like you had crack was going through the neighborhoods, you know, and it was all these different things.
Thing, yeah.
Big thing. So you had these people like, yo, cops kicking our asses, and we gotta speak up and say something. Nowadays, there's no sense of urgency, no rebellion.
Well, it's been 30 years, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, even in terms of what's happening
30
right now,
Yeah.
we still have issues. Like people are still getting shot down in the streets, and nowadays it's like if a rapper makes a record like that, it's just it's coming with a pro-black record, and people will back up away from that record and let it do what it does and let it fizzle out. Then they get back to their party records. Because back in the day, like, cause for me coming up, it was like you had that Fight the Power record, and it was everywhere, and everybody was with it. You know, nowadays, like, you know, a Kendrick can make a song like Black of the Berry, or different songs.
You just have a lot of music.
Yeah,
you get
true.
A lot of and you're not you control what you listen to.
Right.
So, in 1988, you tune in late at night on a Friday. I still have the clock radio back at my house. That I remember, and you have these moments. I remember the first time I heard plug tuning. The first time I heard Rebel Without a Pause. You know what I mean? So you had to tune in. You were focused.
Mm-hmm.
You tuned into that rap show that was on for 2 hours on the radio or on basic cable. You're tuned in, you know what I mean? And you were there for it. You were present. And now you can this is like anything. It's not just not even about hip hop. It's like, you know. And it's crazy. It's like, who said it? It's Salvador Dali or Pablo Picasso said, you know, he's commenting on computers. He said, computers can only give you answers. What's so great about that? Well, it's just giving you what you want. And you don't know what you need. You're not exploring it. You know what I mean? You're not exploring. How the heck would you know what you like if you're being fed directly? You know what I mean? So it always comes back to the demographic ghetto I was talking about that was built in the 90s. You know, you got your own station.
Mm-hmm.
You got your own media. You got Black Twitter. You know what I mean? Whatever. You got the people that you follow. You know what I mean? This is all catered to you. So there's like five cable stations catering to black audiences now.
Like Centric, One, BT,
Her,
Black Stars.
It's all weird, right?
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean. So you can if you want to just tune into that, but you know your influences are just
way bigger than that.
Way bigger. It's crazy, man. It's man. It's weird. You have access to everything, but you still focus on this one thing.
Right.
It's kind of like going to Burning Man. You know what I mean? So you're in the desert and you're supposed to be doing your own thing, and it's just 1,000 people wearing the same fur vest with the cowboy hat and the steampunk boots. Yeah. Like, you're missing the point, man. It's like people always want to be different. They want to be that different. You know what I mean? People kind of want to stand out to a degree. You know what I mean? So you're just going to always find your own. You're supposed to find your own lane, but what can I tell you, man?
It kind of goes back to what you mentioned earlier about how when the Doggy Style album came out on a Tuesday, nobody was buying it.
Yeah.
They waited somebody else to buy it first so they can hear what it sounds like.
Exactly.
Then they can get into it.
I thought you were like, all about it. Before it came out, it's like, no.
People find more comfort in being followers than being leaders or being this original in thought.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know.
Uncertainty,
part of being a human being. You don't really, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Uncertainty shouldn't be that
as
scary
much as you try to run away from that. Like, you know, I don't work in a cubicle. I couldn't work in a cubicle. I feel bad for people working cubicles. It's like, you know, fine, but you're not really a rebel. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, you know, yeah, back to your point. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, you can just, you're an algorithm. You're a demographic. They know how to reach you directly. You know what I mean? They're going to keep you in the pocket. Oh, you like this music? Well, this is more music like what you like.
It's like Pandora was back in the day.
Oh my
like
gosh,
this,
man.
You like this rapper? Check out these rappers. I'm like none of these rappers. What are you talking about? Like, I'm like skip.
Skip it.
Yeah, man.
Let's go to these 3x5 cards. See if anything else I left off. Let's see. The Black American Hated Rap. Yeah, got that. John Cornelius, Soul Train. Friday Night, Culture Wars, Power 99, Ready for the World.
He seriously has
Summer '85. Yeah.
Like my man has like six cards here, 3x5 joints.
Yo. Yeah, man. I wrote these out in LA and bought them.
He was serious. He took me up. So, yo, man, I'm bringing
that
cards
was
through.
Shout out to Hezekiah because he posted on social media. People didn't know what a rap record sound like, so they made anything. It could be anything. They made it.
Right.
Nobody knew what a rap record sounded like back in the day. We know what a rap record is supposed to sound like, so you're gonna replicate that to some degree. Shout out to Hezekiah, man. He's a good cat. Always stayed in his own lane.
Yeah.
True artist.
He'll be on the show in the future as well in 2018. So many people. But yeah.
So yeah, there we go. This goes back to your point. So in 1977, if you wanted to listen to rap, you had to go to the Bronx. You had to leave your city. If you heard about it, Malcolm McLaren did this. He was a Sex Pistols producer. He was in New York, and through whatever Malcolm McLaren, a Sex Pistols producer, produced one of my favorite early hip hop records, Duck Rock, which is like a weird thing that people were doing back in the day. Aside from the novelty comedy records, they were you're doing rap hybrid. So for Malcolm McLaren, a lot of rap sounded like square dance calling and auctioneering. That it's fast talking. That was the big thing.
It's kind of like what Buffalo Girls sound like a little bit, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Buffalo Girls is off that LP. Yeah. So he's in New York, and he actually had to go to New York and get a train uptown. Be the only white guy on that train, and find that party and talk to Africa Bambaataa, who's over 6'5", and this giant kid that you have to talk to. And luckily Bambaataa was accepting of him, and he kind of recognized who he was, and he's like, well, stick around and see what we're doing. That was Malcolm McLaurin's investment in things. It was a big investment back in the 90s. You can do it on a laptop now. But DJ Scratch, all these cats, it was you had to believe in yourself, and you had to make that investment in your lab. Right. A lot of money. Equipment was not cheap. Okay, those samplers weren't cheap. The MPs were not cheap. They're still not.
They were sizable back then too. They weren't like just small things, programs you can get on your computer.
Oh my God, you needed, there was just big time and effort and just carrying those crates if you're a DJ. And luckily, things could have been different. We didn't have that blackout of '77 where everybody stole purloined their equipment. But no, like back into the '80s and '90s, you really had to be great for people to believe you. Those audiences had to believe in you. You had to show and prove on the stage, and you had to throw a ton of money into your home. And if you're a black kid in the hood, Marley Marl slept with his sampler, so nobody would mess with it. Nobody would nobody would touch it while he was sleeping. he would unplug it and lie next to it while he was sleeping in the studio, if anybody was over there. Okay? So, it was just a huge investment, and digital just makes it accessible. You know what I mean? Just though, laptops aren't cheap, but you can get everything. I have every piece of equipment I ever wanted in on the app in my bag called Tabletop on my iPad. Spent $30. Got the Dream 89 Studio, all emulators. If I made something on it, you would have to have a pretty jaded, pretty trained ear to know the difference. But it can all be done. It's all right there. So it's all accessible, you know what I mean? And it's a big part of it. You really had to believe in yourself, and you really had to spend the money. There's no halfway of doing it, you know what I mean? So that was a very real thing.
But I feel like that's how it is now, because like anything you're doing now, investing in yourself is the key. Because back then people were spending X amount of dollars on equipment. So nowadays it's like if you're doing a podcast,
yep,
you gotta spend money on this, the recording equipment, mics, soundboards, recorders, XYZ. That just shows you how much you love what you do. It shows level of dedication.
So back to the criticism, and everybody's a critic, and everybody has a say on Twitter, but it's just their say. Everybody's talking about rap objectively, where back in the day, if you wanted to, best way to criticize the music was to make a better record.
Right.
So Latifah and MC Lyte did not make think pieces, post think pieces on their they didn't blog about it. They made better records. It's the most misogynist men's only club in the world, and they just made the best records. They combated all that with amazing records. That was their the criticism. What I mean? That's how they combated that. That's how they made it undeniable. Today, these records are undeniable. Nobody's really playing them because they weren't necessarily sex based.
Right.
Where all your first lady raps, from Lil' Kim to
Foxy,
Remy Ma,
Trina,
Nicki, Trina.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Sex based. And people want to hear that freaky shit.
Yeah, well, people do.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jerome.
From Martin.
Jerome from Martin. There's a real Jerome from Martin. Lives in New York. He's a construction worker. I used to work winter of '96. I got a seasonal job, best retail job in the world. Virgin Megastore, Times Square. Center of the world, center store, the center of the world. People still buying records. Jerome, in the form of this construction worker, came in. Say, man, you got any more records like Foxy Brown, that Lil' Kim? I need some real filmy records. I'm like, huh? Did you just say filmy records? yeah, anything like that? I'm like, and that definitely wasn't my lane, but yeah, filmy records. So I know what he's talking about. And they made records. Foxy and Lil' Kim, they made records. Not my favorite records, but they made solid records. After all the hype died down, Hot Spot, was that Foxy's?
That was Foxy on the second album.
Oh my God, I love that record.
China Doll, yeah.
An amazing record.
Hardcore, Lil' Kim's Hardcore was like set a precedent for like.
Oh yeah, we had the banner at the Virgin Megastore. 30 by 30 foot by 30 foot banner hanging over me, spread legs.
I need to get that poster.
Yeah, it's out there somewhere. Somebody in New York has it. Probably either Jerome, the construction worker.
My filmy records.
Got any of them filmy records? Man, did you just say that out loud? Came in just dusty. It was Tim's and his construction suit, and he had like afro. And no, he had like a perm like Jerome, like Romy Rome.
My man said filmy records.
He said filmy. You got any more filmy records like Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim?
Oh, that's nasty. But
so yeah, that's Lyte and Latifah. do not sleep on those early recordings. All Hail the Queen, front to back.
45 King, right?
45 King production, front to back. Classic in my book.
Yo, because here's the thing about Latifah. Like, you talk about instead of making blogs and like think pieces, they made better records.
Yeah, it's making better records.
when Latifah dropped Just Another Day, I said, yo, this is crazy.
Right.
And she came with UNICY.
Mm-hmm.
That was like her stance and like, listen, you can try me if you want out here. You'll see what I'm really about. And I love that about her. I loved her, like, her courageousness and her confidence in her music, man.
No doubt.
So I probably why I like of all, you know, I don't like to use the word female MC or femc, nothing like that, but all the ladies who rap.
Hate femc is my favorite. Or it's the best. And nobody ever puts Light or Latifah in the top.
They don't.
5. I always put Light in my top. She was number 5. Sorry.
Queen is up there for me, like my number 1 up there. You know what I'm saying?
And it's always a fluid thing, but she just had the voice. It's mostly voice is a lot of that performance. It always came back to performance for me.
I feel like Rhapsody is in that.
I think Latifah might, as far as vocal performance, I mean, she's an amazing singer too, but
Dana Owens.
her records are amazing.
Yeah, Black Rain I like that. That was a dope record.
Black Rain was a dope record.
Yeah.
It was kind of, but another trend we never spoke on, the Coming Back Hard, 1993. I seen it all, man. So the response to MC Hammer, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, and To the Extreme, Vanilla Ice, nobody wants to do a pop record. They came Pariah's quick. People love those records. They were platinum records. Everybody bought them, and they needed to be told that they were whack. That was an interesting thing that happened. That they sold all these records, and then hip hop did have a say in things. Like, yo, you like these records are whack. And then you're like, oh man, these records are whack. Like everybody bought it, like, kind of turned on it. They weren't defending Hammer, Vanilla Ice. It's like, okay. So the industry, interesting thing. And I always say Vanilla Ice is one of the most influential artists in a weird way. Because everybody hated it and everybody ran from the whole pop label so hard. 1993 was a year going back hard, and you just pick up everything. You look at records that
Carhartt Fest,
even Light,
Roughneck song she had out. I hated that song, dude. Even like now, listen to it now. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Which one?
The song I want a Roughneck.
Oh yeah, Roughneck. Yeah, off of the Ain't No Other album. So yeah, you look at all the records that came out in 91, 92. Look at the aesthetic. Look at the colorful clothes, and the clothes were, they had graduated from the Dapper Dan look, and everything was kind of baggy and colorful, color blocks. Everything was covered out.
Right.
See, To the Extreme and Please Hammer Hurt 'Em come back. The backlash comes. Everybody's Carhartt.
The vest.
Carhartt Dickies.
Apache was dressing that.
Oh my God, Apache.
Who else am I thinking of at the time?
And it's like, hold up, wait it. Everybody was doing their own thing. 89, 90, 91.
Yep.
Then those big trends started coming. Then the 40s and the blunts come.
Yeah, I think Know About Nature, they had that look, but that was their look from that was Jersey.
Look.
That was their
Everybody
thing.
jacked their look. That was the authentic look.
Yep.
Yes.
Even remember the beanie with the
tie off.
Tie off on the top. Yeah.
Soul, yeah,
because everybody had that after a while.
That was a jail fashion. That was prisoners were like, just it was some way apparently you can tear up it's like you can stab somebody with a toothbrush. You can turn a t-shirt into a hat.
And the overalls they had out back in the day, and the Jeeps with the doors off,
yes,
with the Tim boots.
Yeah,
everybody was just in your
everybody
face.
had a utensil. Church had his chainsaw. People coming out with size. Mobb Deep had oh my God, everybody had the garden weasel.
Yeah, in the joint.
And everybody had the video with the brothers swinging the utility lamp in an abandoned lot.
But that's why I didn't like. Well, she had one song I liked, but
we love it now. But back in the day, it's like, well, this isn't the diverse thing that
when Boss came out.
Oh, Boss and D, yeah, man.
Like Boss had the ones going deeper, and the beat was fire. But it was just like, yo, rap wise, I'm like, yo, why are you cursing like this, man?
Yeah.
I'm like 8, 9 years old. I'm like, you cursing a lot right now, man.
And she was like a school teacher or something.
And she was like really smart. I saw an interview with her and her DJ friend. You know what I'm saying? And her partner, whatever she was,
Boston D.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah. And she was talking to us. What's going on with you, boss? You know, just keeping it real for the streets out here. You know,
it was crazy.
I'm like, what? I'm like, and that became a thing in rap. Like, you're keeping it real for the streets. I'm like, you're not even
became the thing. Yeah.
I'm like, y'all not even out here. Y'all not even street people like that.
Not street, from Baldwin Hills. And they addressed it on the album, you know. It was kind of, in retrospect, it was kind of, she put the drag on, but she acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Very much so, man.
Yeah.
And again, street fashions, you know, everybody became about the label, the music, the clothing label, in addition to the music.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was always that DIY punk aesthetic to it, where, you know, you just buy whatever, you know what I mean, make your own style.
But then Versace came out there, Gucci labels. But that's probably one thing about Redman that I will say I always enjoyed. Mm-hmm. Even through the era of the Big Willie era, he still dressed how he wanted to dress. Like, he wasn't out here spending, like, you might have seen him with some big crazy glasses, but his style was always what it was. I remember watching the Pick It Up video. Yeah. He was just t-shirt and jeans.
Episode was the legendary.
Yo, there's nothing else like ever top that.
You know, whatever. You hate lists, but you want to talk about landmark moments in hip-hop. It's like everybody's always going to talk about that. Whereas every other episode of that is an empty mansion with a plasma screen TV.
A rented crib, yeah.
And that's why he's people want to realize that he might be the GOAT.
Because people
been solid, man.
Talking about it damn near 20 years later.
Absolutely, you know. Again, it's just people. I don't know. It's always the genuine stuff will always come to the surface.
Yes, indeed.
I think that's everything on my 3x5 cards. Oh yeah, forgot about this. So Def Jam was cool. You know, Def Jam is always be the label of hip hop, as you know, Motown is the soul and Blue Note is the jazz.
Russell Simmons.
They're more deeper labels in all those both those genres and all the genres. But Def Jam, you know, it was a definite sound, and it's weird, man. They actually, you know, Slayer is a Def Jam record. You know what I mean? That was Rick's idea, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's just like Def Jam records you never hear about. So you know about Public Enemy and LL and so forth. And then they kind of just like, you know, they put out hip-hop R&B when it was popular. And that's where it kind of lost it. It's kind of followed the money. And they kind of lost their face. But Def Jam was cool. Rush Artist Management, though.
They had everybody.
That was the best, and that's what created that era that I love so well. Mm-hmm. Everybody had the logo. You know who these people were. You saw them live. They brought them to your city.
Did he manage EPMD?
I think it was EPMD, Jazzy Jeff from the Fresh Prince, Eric B. and Rakim, and that's why we know all those records. You know, all those artists, and all those records by those artists today, because of Rush Artist Management.
That's crazy.
Because he just, you know, they just built that infrastructure that wasn't there. And the logo was the same. You know, Jazzy Jeff. You can see Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince original logo in your head. Run DMC's logo, Public Enemy's logo. Eric B. and Rakim, that whole image. And the best tour, you know, went to the Back to School tour. I think it was 88 at Spectrum. And all those artists just performed one after the other. It was amazing night. So they really put it on. So yeah, Def Jam gets all the glory. But Rush Artist Management, it was Russell's, that was the best thing, probably the best thing that ever happened to the industry.
I used to see it all the time, like in like the booklets for albums, or even on the back of records. It was like I would see like Rush Management, and I knew who. I already knew Rush. That's Russell Simmons right there, but I never really had the information to know he had the label on the side, and he had his management there at the same time too. Because I once thought they were all one and the same. But I'm like, no, this says Atlantic, this says Epic, this says blah blah. Some of this doesn't say Def Jam anywhere near here, but I see Rush Management.
This Run DMC was on profile for whatever. Well, you seen Crush Groove. That's kind of what Crush Groove was supposed to be about. Yeah, but Blair Underwood does not look like Russell Simmons.
Fat Boys running through Sbarro's.
Yeah.
Getting mad pizza.
And then Sheila E. was in there.
Yeah.
That's because, Purple Rain was big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you couldn't even... The definitive hip-hop movie of all time just couldn't survive on hip-hop alone. You needed that Purple Rain element in there.
Yeah.
So, Russell gets a lot of criticism, but, he sat on his couch for years eating popcorn and making phone calls, making sure that black people could get paid. And, it had to lose a lot of its...
And side note, No Audition was also in that movie besides Sheila E. Yeah. You're right. So
that's
R&B.
right. Oh, yeah. You had to fill seats. And, you could have done with Run DMC and...
There was other R&B groups in that one too, weren't they? If I doing that showcase,
in there?
Might have been.
Think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Crush Groove came out. There was no other. It was Breaking and Ice-T and The Glove were in that one, but it was more about. It wasn't even about breaking. It was about pop locking.
Yeah, Beat Street.
And Beat Street was Harry Belafonte's contribution, and even then it was. Break dancers danced to funk breaks from the 70s and not electro from the 60s and 70s and not electro of the 80s, the Arthur Baker stuff that they put in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's compromise. Hip-hop's always just been about compromise. And we seen it coming. We saw it happen in rock and roll and prog rock and punk rock and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's always seemed that, rock has always tried to put this facade of being genuine, even when everybody was selling out. Even as all the hippies aged, they still wanted to keep that veneer, even though as fake as it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's always been a constant struggle, whereas hip hop has always been about money. This the definitive. It's in a lot of aspects. It's only art footwear selling out is the point. That's why you're getting into it. You know what I mean? And that's for me the greatest image is that the hip hop, the cover of Paid in Full. It says it all right there. It says that aspirational part, but there's music behind that. You know what I mean?
It was a hell of a marketing tool. I love that.
Yeah.
Because you think this is all about the money. You get to actual rhymes. It's like these guys are on. Well, Rakim was like on a different level in the writing.
Even then, and Eric B, and everybody talks about Eric B, sloppy as DJ, whatever. He actually had a sound though, man. He he knew music. He knew how to pick a sample. Yeah. He knew how to pick a beat.
They had a nice 4-album run.
They had a solid run. It was weird. Only 2 of those records were on the same label. It's like You and I and Fourth and Broadway, and then MCA. I think the last 2 were MCA.
Yeah. Because the Fourth and Broadway was the first one was on 4th and Broadway, right? Then the second one was like...
You and I records.
I felt like they had 2 different album covers. It was the same shop, different... I don't know, I felt like I had 2 versions of that album around somewhere. But yeah, like that last album, they ended on like a high note because they had No Delays, they had Sweat the Technique.
Yeah.
With for young Wyclef playing the bass in a video, something like that, or playing
really?
sax.
I never noticed it.
Yeah, I was watching No Sweat the Technique video because he was in his mansion with all these girls dancing around.
It's a bizarre video, man.
It is, and I'm like,
yeah, you got 5%ers, but you had the sleep video, like.
Cause I've never seen him around women like that in the video.
Never.
All
the records are raw. I mean, all the videos are raw. The whole image was. It was the 90s, though. Yeah, the 90s, 91, 90. No, it was 92 by then, right?
Yeah.
That last record came out. I actually have the Eric B's rap record, his solo rap record.
Yeah, the rap record?
Yeah. It's a weird thing.
I can imagine that it is. Cause I never heard of it till now.
I have that. I mean, I collect stuff like that.
All right.
That's my favorite part of the culture. Just, I always go in for the odd stuff. Just in general, comic books, whatever I'm collecting, T-shirts, hats.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing I'm into back in LA is, but yeah, I always get that. I always go for the oddest things if I can get it.
Your Ron's collection is ridiculous, man. Things that I've seen him find, and like in LA and various places, it's just like,
oh yeah,
it's just top notch stuff.
It's because I'm just kind of like over records, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's definitely rap records in the back of my head that I know I heard once. I heard on Drescher Barbito, or I heard it on Lady B or Radioactive back in the day. And that would bug me. I'll look out for those records. Freddie Fresh is a DJ from Minnesota, I believe. He does a lot of like techno and stuff, but he produced. He collects. He compiled the rap records.
Mm-hmm.
It's an almanac of every early rap record up to a point. So just stuff like that, just the odd stuff. The stuff that was hot on the box or BET for like a week. Rappenstein.
Rappenstein, Jesus.
This is a visit. What was that name of that group? Bosco Money and I'm drawing a blank. The Rumpelstiltskins, the Youngsters, the Illy Funksters, stuff like that.
I had those albums, man. I'll Make You Famous.
I'll Make You Famous, man.
Yeah, that one song.
Verbal Glock.
With them.
Verbal Glock, man. I had to find that single. I found it at Brewery Town Beats. Amazing, just hardcore Philly rap record. But it was, it was a product. You know what I mean?
Let me laugh. Like people like, yeah, my Lyrical 9. I got Verbal Glocks. Just glad nobody raps like that anymore.
It's just,
man.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
So it was an incredible. That's what I live for.
So I know.
It's like if I can't go for the new music, I'll just go for what I missed, or what caught my ear for that weird spell back in the day, and I'll dig that up. It always remains fresh for me.
So if you have that, do you also have Jamal's
Phase Them All?
Yeah,
of course. Cause that single of the album I have a lot of versions of that for some reason.
Yeah, the Pete Rock remix of Phase Them All was I think like there was no more.
Oh my gosh, Mike Geronimo. It's a flood of just things, just those one-offs, Everybody gets a single from me, you know what I mean?
Royal Flush has some
even
joints.
Even rappers that I hate, I'll have, everybody has one song that you're going to like. Any artist in general.
There was a dude from New York who had a single that I loved from 94, a dude named Nine.
Oh, yeah, What You Want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as albums, I don't know nothing about it.
That's Funkmaster Flex's Boy.
Ah, okay.
Then did he come? Yeah, he had the album.
Illinois Scratch had the two joints that I liked, but like
Illinois Scratch.
I'll Take It was but like the main one I liked was Zero My Homies. That was my dream. But as far as the album, I don't know nothing about
Smooth
that,
the
man.
Hustler, Trigger the Gambler, front to back classic records. Crew, the Dirty 30. Nobody can for that record. It's an amazing record, front to back.
Yeah, everybody on that. Tracy Lee was on from Philly. Was on there. They had
Antoinette has the first verse on the record. MC Light's Nemesis, and then she's not on the rest of the record at all. It's just such a bizarre, such a well produced LP. It's amazing.
It reminds me of that concept album Prince Paul put out. We had all these different rappers playing different parts.
Psychoanalysis. Oh no, what was it?
Didn't Everlast play a cop on that album?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it.
Yeah.
And Prince Paul is probably my favorite producer. He just really speaks to me. Like I spoke about it earlier. Cause Politics of the Business, which is about the rap industry. Mm-hmm. Hip Hop Gold Dust, which is his outtakes album. Psychoanalysis, which is kind of like all skits, basically. You know what I mean? It's like, what if you made an album that was all skits, but the music is incredible. Definitely worth seeking out. So yeah, it's like a lot of unplayed music there that's definitely worth seeking out, and so yeah, you don't have to go for all the new stuff. You can find, but some good music will always find you.
Indeed.
I will be diplomatic in that respect, but It's a mess. It's always been a mess. It's got a structured mess, and a lot of great artists have gone unnoticed, and a lot of bad artists have gained popularity. But you gotta, I wouldn't worry about your culture being appropriated. A lot of that to me is just they let them have it. Let them appropriate it. You just have to come up with something better. There's nothing new under the sun. They're always going to appropriate your culture. Just keep running.
I'll make a confession to you right now. Mm-hmm. Well, not really a confession. It's people don't like this, but I don't care. People got upset about Katy Perry. Her video, she had the long nails and the braids, and she was doing different cultural stuff.
Yeah.
Right. It didn't bother me. Mm-hmm. Because I'm first of all, I know she's not doing it to be malicious. I know she's doing it because these are certain things that fascinate her about other people's cultures.
Yeah.
And I'm and plus, you know what it is? For me, I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
Done by other people throughout the years. So something like that was whatever. Because I've seen a lot worse done. That has really offended me, but something like that, nah. And I didn't,
Okay.
I just.
Well, I mean, I've been privy to a lot of the machine, the pop and the music machine in LA right now in general, and you have artists, and a lot of them just don't have a say. They have stylists and they have teams.
Right.
The team dictates stuff, so I think her team dictated that to it. And, that's just the thing, especially between Katy Perry and Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus.
Ugh, man,
it's all about the team and what the team dictates.
Right, and her team may have, some brown faces in the mix. You know what I mean? Calling out shots what they should do, what they shouldn't do.
Yeah, I mean, it's all check-related. It's weird. It's everything is so disjointed to me, man. It's producer was doing everything. And that's the main thing we got to do. It's not about the rapper. I know you love Dipset. Everybody loves Dipset, right? Now, do you love Dipset or do you love Just Blaze?
That's a good question. I'm a fan of the Just Blaze.
Yeah.
And check this out. I like Dipset. I like the first Diplomatic Community album.
Yeah.
But am I going to say I'm the biggest Dipset fan of all time? Mm-hmm. Hell no. But back when they were out, it was one of them things where listen, if you ain't like Dipset, then you wasn't down. So we all had to like Dipset when Dipset was out. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays I'm I'm alright. I can listen to a couple albums, some joints, but I'm not out here trying to wear American flag throwback outfits. Like my man Joel's had on that video, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about that.
Hey, it was a thing.
It was a thing.
It's a thing like any other thing. Just like Dapper Dan, it was a thing. Just like the jail hats, the jail T-shirt, twisty hat. Oh my God, it's a thing. It's so yeah, man. People come by things honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad I have a hat like
so
that.
just think in terms of the production. Would you really like that rapper with a different track behind him?
Nah, I think that's the reason why one of my favorite rappers, AZ, never really caught on like that for a while because the production he had was never where it needed to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go.
So that was the definitely the fallout of Illmatic. We always talk about it. You know what I mean? It was produced by a committee.
Yep.
Like I said, Large Professor had produced it front to back. I would have probably appreciated it more just because that's what I was used to. I was used to Marley Marl and Biz Markie. Mm-hmm. Cool V was the DJ, but Marley Marl was behind the board, and Ivan Doc Rivera, the engineer, huge thing for me.
So I wonder who produced Biz Marquie's Spring Again.
I think he did it himself. A lot of that record he produced himself.
I love that joint, man. My favorite Biz Markie song is Spring Again.
But yeah, always I don't know. It's just the engineering.
It's always more than just what you see.
Just how records were made just appealed to me back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge generational thing. A lot of our DJ friends are always championing, this new music if you have to seek it. And to me, there's a lot of competent music, but the foundation, how things are recorded now, and everything's just digital. I don't know. It's
too clean.
Analog recordings.
It's too clean, bro.
The records just don't soar. They just kind of sit there. It could be the most, competent, beautiful vocalist, but it's just kind of like it's coming at me. It's a huge thing, man. Engineering and just the infrastructure of the culture. There's always something I look at. Not to sound too pretentious, but whatever.
Nah, I mean, because it goes to the back to the thing with us liking what we like. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm watching the Wrecking Crew documentary.
Okay.
And just seeing, because there were songs, again, I didn't know how they were made.
Right.
Or I watched a Brian, main man from the Beach Boys.
Brian Wilson.
Watched,
oh my gosh, yeah.
His stories and getting these ideas, how everything comes up. Like just what went into the record, what went into like producing these records, how they were in these big rooms with these bands and these well trained like musicians, and why like you'll see these people in this room performing, and then you hear the song and you're like, oh my God, how did such a small group of people create a song such a big sound? Right. Like there's a song that Tina Turner did with Ike and Tina Turner. She was with Ike at the time.
Phil Spector.
Yeah.
River Deep Mountain High.
Yeah, that's it, River Deep Mountain High. And it's just such a humongous song.
Yeah.
But you see how it actually was performed. It was like, she has this and all these musicians always around her, right?
Phil Spector, man, Wall Sound, and
they're playing their ass off. But yet, even though you see these musicians here as a group,
right,
doing it, and then you hear the actual song, it's just like, wow, it's mind blowing. I gotta watch more about Phil Spector because all I know about Phil Spector as of late is just craziness, and Al Pacino played him in the movie.
It's all that's your legacy, man. You gotta watch what you're doing. Ike Turner is probably the greatest American musician to ever lived. This incredible pianist and guitar player, and he's always going to be connected to
domestic abuse.
First and foremost to domestic abuse. First, foremost, and last for a lot of people. So,
because I read about a story. I don't know where I read that was in the book. I don't know where it was at, but pretty much he said how back in the day in the 80s. He was high as hell. Oh, yeah. Still getting high. So when he was high, he signed off the rights to his story for her book. So when it came out, he was in jail. Yeah. When he got out, the movie had come out. And, he's got life back together. You know what I mean? No more narcotics. You know what I mean? He was clean. But when he got out, he came out into a world that was like, yo, we hate Ike Turner, yo. Right. Because what he saw in the movie. Yeah. And he was like, yo. He said, okay, I guess he said that one of the scenes, the rape scene that happened in the movie, so that never happened
in the studio.
Yeah, he said there were things that happened in the movie that never happened in real life. I think even they asked Tina about certain things. She was like, "Yeah, that didn't happen," but I guess they did that for the movie to make it extra dramatic. Right. But I heard tons of great things about Ike Turner on the music side. Yeah. But again, like you said. Through the legacy, and all that went down.
And it's not about music. I mean, you really got to be a music lover, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. People love the scandal and the gossip of hip hop, and loving hip hop. No music. The only attachment to the music is that these are music veterans, industry veterans are on this show. Doing whatever, making a life after the fact. You know what I mean?
Right. Because you look at Jay-Z's recent album, 444, talk about legacies. People were more in tune to Did he cheat on Beyonce? Rather than him making like an actual album.
Yeah, listening to exactly.
Just the answer to Lemonade. I'm like, yo, why don't we just focus on the music, like you said?
Yeah,
ain't about the music anymore.
Yeah, Hov is weird. You know, you could tell he's a music lover, but I don't know. I think there's some disconnect there.
Same with Nas too, in a way.
Yeah. Nas has, as House Shoes pointed out, he's really bad at picking beats.
10 ear. Everybody says he has 10 ear. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all about he made some amazing records. I can't That's the good thing about the digital age. You can do a la carte music. You know what I mean?
Pick out what you want.
Yeah, you can play. I'll give you power and leave out. The James Cagney rap that he did, whatever.
Yo, here's my question about Nas, and you're a veteran here. He
owns a chicken restaurant in my neighborhood.
He does?
Yeah.
What's out to Nas, yo?
Saw him outside that once. I was like, wow.
Nasir Jones. Yeah.
I saw Nas and Sylvester Stallone like in the same half hour on Sunday. I love LA, man.
I need to visit LA one of these days. There's a question, yo.
Yep.
Is Nas You Owe Me that bad of a record?
You Owe Me?
Doing with the Timberland joint, Genuine
record. It's a great Timberland record.
It is a great Timberland record, man. But people always like, it's a whack record. I'm like, wow. I'm like, in the club,
it works.
Yeah, it does. Even as it's instrumental, it's fire. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah. Oh, I love it a lot more than Hate Me Now.
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna sample the movie trailer song.
Yeah, you're gonna the old O Fortuna, the Latin joint. I had to sing that song in high school.
Yeah, that's not
It's just I feel like there was a Nas song. It should be just called Puff Daddy featuring Nas, yo.
Yeah. Then it had the whole controversy about not controversy, but the whole fact that the Hitmen did that whole catalog. You know what I mean? And Puff, executive produced it, and he picked some of the beats and stuff. But another, polarizing, possibly the most polarizing figure in hip hop. And that's what I live for. That's with all the criticism. That's what fascinates me. Positivity bores me. The polarizing aspects of these people is always what I go for. Vanilla Ice, Lil Wayne, Puffy, Kanye, even in terms of the smaller world that we lived in, you know what I mean? I just love doing rap postmortems. I listen to Can I Bust religiously now, just trying to figure out what wrong with the record. Why Clef, who produced, the score, and, even his first album, The Carnival, is, oh my God, what an amazing record.
Bubble Goose is my shit on that album, dude.
Yeah. He did back-to-back great albums. And this guy who, you had Rakim, then you had Nas, and this guy was going to, be the next Nas to Rakim, what Nas to Rakim. He was going to be to Nas.
Right. Second Knockout was a crazy joint.
Just the beat selection is weird, and the skits are weird. And the first single was about, the
mom. Wasn't the first single Second Round Knockout?
Yeah. I mean, that was a single. That was his coming out single. Period. Yeah.
Was it I Honor You? Was that one by his mom?
I Honor You is the first. And it's just such a weird subject matter for your first song, and he's such you don't know what's it Get Retarded is the track on it I genuinely like. Can we say retarded on the podcast?
Yeah, you can
okay,
you can be like calling anybody retarded. We're saying the songs
objectively the name of the song, and you don't know the sequence to the Human Genome Project. That's his diss on that record. It's like, what a weirdo, and what a weird. It's just a weird record, man, and the beats just don't connect, and the samples are strange.
Yeah, it was all over the place, and I'm like, I was kind of disappointed in Wyclef. I'm like, dude.
And the covers, looked like it was made on in Paint.
One of my favorite
Windows
songs
Paint.
on the album is "What's Going On."
I couldn't tell you what. I mean, I listen to the record all the time.
It was like it gets the storyline of the song. Like they go into a club, and people start shooting in the club now. Mm-hmm. He samples Havoc. I'm trying to sneak in the ratchet, some line like that. Yeah, but like,
yeah, man, it's
even Trigonometry was like,
yeah.
oh, I'm bad, Niggonometry. I'm sorry, yeah, Niggonometry. What up? Why they call it Trigonometry? Okay, because on a music video on the box, it's called Trigonometry.
Was there a video for that? Oh my god!
Or it was like, I honor you. Then it went into like half that into Niggonometry. I don't know, but it was called Trigonometry.
It was like I just fascinated by it because it's like the most high profile flop in rap, probably. You know what I mean?
Yo, he came out and performed at 1998 Music Video Awards and all silver paint.
Did he? Oh yeah, I remember. Like he was performing on the boulevard.
Yeah, man.
With a whistle.
He said, "I'm the man, the cannabis man." He came out on stage with that shit. I said, "Oh my god, yo,
what's going on?"
Yo, perfect.
All his records are just really bizarre. I mean, he's just, I don't know, this is the thing that he's on.
Then in 2000 BC.
And they paired him with Wyclef, and Wyclef didn't deliver, and I'm just doing these postmortems, man. I have access to all these records that I never would have normally paid money for, and I can, pick them apart and dissect them.
Because he was in the same era as, that historical video that's all over YouTube of like all these artists around tables. John Forte, it's Cannabis, it's Big Pun, it's like DMX, Mos Def, and some other random people who I don't know, but everybody spitting their verse, and Cannabis spits his verse from a second round knockout. DMX is there. He was like, "Oh man, you coming at old boy? Word!" He spits the whole verse. People are like, "Oh man, it's crazy." And everybody had these high hopes for Cannabis. Like, he was on the Lost Boys joint Beats from the East.
Of course.
With Redman, the A+. And he was on another Lost Boys joint. That album came out, we was all sitting there trying to figure out what is this? Because 98 was a year where a lot of good rap releases came out.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And his album came out, we was just, fuck.
It was right after that tipping point, but, I was still optimistic then and still invested. And rap, and just, it just once the studios abandoned and honestly they stopped making compelling music. BDP and Public Enemy's run was over even in the early 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still great live band, but the Bomb Squad wasn't there, and Chuck D was still on point, but why I fell in love with Public Enemy was no longer a thing, so.
Yo, a lot of my favorite groups tended to fall by the wayside, and then Tribe broke up on the Love Movement. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, and then, that album burned up in the fire, and then they replaced it, Love Movement.
Yeah.
And just a bunch of weird things just happened, and, just KRS-One records were just coming out. I remember I was still buying them, but I'm like, okay, I'm not.
All Need Is a Friend, Rapture.
No, that was good. That was the last, then, Word Perfect and singles just started getting weird. So, then EPMD broke up, and, all the comeback records, they're no longer analog. They're produced digitally, and a huge difference there, man.
They had the Back in Business joint. They got back with Def Jam, right? It was like 99, 2000. That's when they had the Symphony 2000.
Another weird, another oddity, and I'm proud of in my collection, the greatest hits that they did for Def Jam, which the actual songs were owned by Profile, so they had to cover their own songs best they could for the Def Jam greatest hits album. So you're listening to it, and if you're a trained ear, if you're a big EPMD fan, you're like, okay, they did these 2 months ago. Luckily, Eric Sermon's production was just so straightforward that they could,
just get away with it.
Just kind of get away with it. But, I had all those records anyway, so it didn't make a difference.
I'm Eric Sermon, and I'm Parrish Smith.
Yeah.
Dude, but something I wanted to bring up to you, I was thought about at the beginning of the podcast interview, but you talk about the shiny suit era, right?
Shiny suit era.
You know what's crazy? In reality, the shiny suit era only lasted a year.
Yeah.
Because you think about when Biggie was around, Biggie wasn't shiny suits. Shiny suits came out like once they were the Biggie video for Money More Problems, the Mariah Carey video for Honey, where everybody was in those shiny golden outfits, and Mace Feel So Good. But by the time '98 came around, that whole shiny suit era had died down, because that's when like DMX's albums were coming out, Hard Knock Life came out,
right?
Noriega, Cameron's,
everything skewed Thug. It was another backlash.
Yeah, because
it was '93 all over again.
Yes, yep, indeed. Because Confessions of Fire made come out '97, but Horse and Carriage was a '98 single.
Yeah,
the Horse and Carriage remix with the Night Court theme song.
Went Backstreet. It was '93 again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hype Williams was still directing. Yeah, man. It's the thing about Biggie. You had Carhartt Biggie, and you had Versace Biggie. You had Easy Mo B Biggie, and you have Diddy's Biggie. It's just like that's. You talk about that tipping point.
I feel like Easy Mo B's Biggie was also Cool G Biggie. Kinda.
Yeah.
Because Cool G Biggie was still like, I got money, but I'm still of my environment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Machine Gun Funk, every struggle joint.
One More Chance remix was
Def Diddy all day.
It was always. I will always go back to that. I say the tipping point, and that's what I mean by the tipping point.
That.
And then he passed, and then Mace was next in line, and my feelings about that.
Mason Betha, the savior of Bad Boy.
Yeah, it's just he just wasn't Biggie. He wasn't even he wasn't even Apache.
Oh, he crazy, man.
It was weird. I mean, I knew he was a competent rapper, but it seemed that he was just swinging below his, you know what I mean?
Because have you ever heard his material before,
below
Bad Boy?
His weight. Yeah.
Like,
Once.
he was definitely nice, but I guess like that was his Murder Mace. Once he got with Diddy, he was on us, like that.
Yeah, it was just, just cranked down so far, man. It's just like...
Cause like,
but yeah, man, and the
let's see,
Dipset stuff, I just like just Blaze's production.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have flown with anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially like some like song like the Old Boy joint was
so
like.
We've kind of tossed the. We've always worshipped the executive producer, Suge Knight, Diddy, We love those
Simmons,
cats.
Yeah, Leora Cohen and
Leor and Dame Dash, and never, really the actual producers and engineers.
Right.
Which, again, my theory that's, my view that, it stopped being about music at one point and started being more about, especially with Suge, man. I mean, incredible. He made things happen, but it was all about his gangster image. It was all about that photo shoot.
Yes, he made things happen.
Yeah, Bow Wow photoshopped himself. Well,
oh God, yo, it was...
But
ugh.
You know what I mean? It's just the drag, man, that I never liked. And De La Soul just kind of threw that off. That was the whole point of them early on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The three, Me, Myself, and I video. The video was about them coming out, and you don't have to be a b-boy to be hip hop. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to wear the Kangol and the not the shiny suit but the tracksuit.
What was that? The Troop joints, whatever tracksuit was out. Yeah.
But you just keep digging deeper and deeper, and they needed a radio single.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy Boy wanted them a radio single, and Prince Paul, everybody knows. Well, people know, not just Knee Deep. So we're just going to do a rap over that. It's like, all right, we'll just do it, and it's their definitive song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they hate that song.
They hate that song, but yeah, because they had to perform it 1,000 times. You know what I mean?
I heard one of the live joints. It was saying, "Ready." That's her time to a song. We hate this song. We hate this song. We hate this song. Yeah,
you must love this song. And they flipped it that way. And it's an incredible song because it's a definitive song, but it's also the video is about them coming out against the b-boy cliche. The song itself is about Tommy Boy botching their early promo with the Daisy Age. Tommy played off the Daisy Age. Daisy meaning dead in their sound, y'all. But Tommy Boy just bringing out the flowers and making them, they're hippie rappers. So, they're rebelling against their album company, the record company, with a record that defines them now. You know what I mean? The definitive single. It's such an amazing thing, man. That is. So if it was that one, there was another example of that. Oh, and then Push It. Back to my very first thing I said on the podcast. And it makes it sound like I hate, I lump it in with JJ Fast, so it's not that I hate female rappers, I just hate. Before Push It and Salt Pepper had Push It, they had a diss record. They did Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick with the Showstopper. It's back when they were called Super Nature. Mm-hmm. Incredible record. It was a fun record. It was one of those Lady B records I loved. I taped it off the radio, played it to death. So, and then, they had Tramp, and they had, I'll Take Your Man and all that. They had some really solid records, yet Push It is their definitive record, and I hate it. Because it's such a blatant crossover record, you know what I mean? And, it's going to do a rap of, You Really Got Me, and people just love it now. It's like 80s kitsch, and, they have, they dress like Salt and Pepper for Halloween and do karaoke, Push It, like, that was what it was, that's what hip-hop was about at that time. Mm. When in reality, it was just, it was just a crossover, and it worked great. It crossed over big, but it's such an anomaly in their catalog, Salt and Pepper's catalog. Nothing else they put out sounded like that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They had some really, solid... They weren't really street, because, Herbie Lovebug's production was... I think he had bigger... his ambition was pretty big at the time. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to make more radio-friendly stuff, but... I Take Your Man, Tramp were, much better than Push It. Mm. And, for years I hated Salt and Pepper just based on Push It. And I went back and, reviewed Hot, Cool, and Vicious and Assault with a Deadly Pepper. And, they actually had some really solid, album cuts. And I always go into album cuts. I hate singles. I hate award tour. If I have a award tour again, I can go through without hearing award tour again, as much as that's an anthem. Yeah. As much as, as you're just solid. If I hear award tour again, if I never have to hear award tour again, I'll be happy. Because I just heard it so much. And I heard the DJ juggle the intro so many times. And it's like, here we go. And it just doesn't register. I don't want to hate the song now. It's just, I've heard it so much, it just doesn't register. So, just play, play Pubic Enemy or play The Hop or play...
Pubic Enemy is the shit, man.
Play Mr. Incognito, please. They have so many more songs in it, but you're gonna run a war tour, and you play the Scenario and this feeling about. So play a Scenario remix, please. You know what I mean?
Name of Hood.
I know I should never be bored by hip hop, and it's just I didn't seek that song like that. It's just been played and going out. Heard that fluid so many times, man. I just see green tiles when I hear, hear award tour being juggled. Yo, and it's my best friend's DJing the song. It's just just delete it from your Serato. Nobody will complain. Nobody's really going to, you might go 5 years and somebody requests, well, you haven't played award tour in a while. Yeah, because you played it so many times. Amazing song. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love what it's based on. I love it. I love the video.
But still, it's like I'm done with it.
But I just heard it so many times it's been registered, and that's just one of maybe 30 songs I never ever listened to again. You know what I mean?
All my favorite Tribe joints are like for real, are like album cuts. Like on the first People's Distinctive Travels.
Of course.
And like into
nobody
rhythm.
bought that record, by the way.
I know. I got like, so my favorite joints were the Art of Moving Butts, of course.
Yeah.
There was in the Go Out in the Rain.
Yeah.
And the one song that wasn't on the actual like album, but it was on the CD joint.
Yeah.
Was Dedication to a Fool.
Yes.
Was it called? Was it called Dedication to a Fool?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they also had
the
the instrumental version of it too, or the like extended version.
Yeah.
It was like instrumental of a fool, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I like that was my favorite joint because it flipped right to Roy Ayers joint.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like DJs don't play that song. Don't play none of the songs I like.
They never play any song off that record, man.
They don't,
because Low End Theory blew up, and it's weird. Scenario was, I think, the third single off of that.
Yeah, it was
when that was the norm when you had 3 singles. So Scenario was the third single, and then it blew up. So people were checking for it. The Source wrote about it.
Mm-hmm.
People were up on it, but yeah, same thing. It happened a lot, man. It's just people just. It was too. It wasn't the B-boy stuff.
Was that?
None of the native tongue stuff was the B-boy norm. As much as we come to love it, as much as we love the paid in full cover,
mm-hmm.
The album cover and what it, with the whole Marley Marl era, there was opposition to that, but it was also musical. You know what I mean? And music-based opposition. And and like I said, they didn't like the image, but they made a great song criticizing that image, and they made a song that satisfied, again, the record company's demands for a radio single at the same time. Those cats are just incredible, man.
Yeah, man.
I'll probably never fully unpack how much I like, De La Soul. But it wasn't, like I said, it's just like it's so many artists that I can't even name off the top of my head. We talk about the native tongues like it was just, it was the definitive movement, the most visible movement against cliched hip hop at that time. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't the only one. I'm just thinking, man, just 89, 90, 91. You could tune in, you would get Low Profile, and then you get X Clan after that. Then you get, Poison Clan after that, Two Live Crew. Two Live Crew was massive. Nobody really, discusses it now. But, they just had so much output, and they put on these artists, and yeah, man, that era of the Mini Mogul was just amazing, man.
The era was interesting.
And New York was a planet. It was just a variety of music. It was never bored me. You know what I mean?
Because 89, 91, besides rap, it was also like a bridge between house and rap.
Yes.
Because
that's another great point. So, go ahead.
Because during that time period, like my dad would get these records. Mm-hmm. Like, mind you, we had the rap records. We also had like BG, the Prince of Rap.
Sure.
At one joint, the beat is hot. Then he also had
Palladium. I call them Palladium records. You hear them on MTV The Grind.
Yeah.
They were rap records. They had rappers on them. Snap, Turbo B was the rapper. Like your Kid K was another different rappers that weren't necessarily hip hop. It was I call it a high energy dance.
Would you consider KLF's CM Eternal a record like that?
Yeah, absolutely. KLF's Going to Rock. Yeah.
That's Jesus. Even to this very day, I can't get enough of that song, man.
So yeah, this is the other thing about the cusp is that it seemed every genre was just flourishing. First of all, REM's Losing My Religion. Again, it goes back to the college radio, which is always relegated to college. Every once in a while, you had a band or a group that would cross over to the mainstream top 40 charts. And when REM Losing My Religion, things just kind of got real with pop. It was just pop music. Mm-hmm. Then things got really introspective. You know what I mean? So alternative radio was exploding from that. Hip hop was exploding, and because it was singles based, people wanted to replicate the growing popularity of hip hop. Well, everything was going to be the next hip hop. House was going to be the next hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw more house singles exploding. Then all the music got exported to Europe, and they just went mad for it. You know what I mean? And I always look at, it's weird, man. I always look at Europe and the UK because you think about your top 5 rock and roll groups of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Classic rock. So you have the Beatles, the Who, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. Talk about classic rock. All British groups. None of them are American groups. So why? Why are they so revered? Why are they so loved for their music above, the image that they put out? And it's like, to be a great rock and roll group, you have to be a great blues group, I think. So, especially where the Rolling Stones are concerned, this cats revered, like Howlin' Wolf.
Muddy Waters, Chess Records cats, yeah.
Exactly, they named this, how they got their name. But they revere them, but they didn't have to live in the States.
Mm-hmm.
They had a romantic idea about, these black musicians in America and thriving with this oppression. And, they were free to explore that. Whereas if you're, a white musician in America, you can, you got to kind of keep that under your hat. You know what I mean? It's like you're a nigga lover, basically. And you're not going to have a career being a nigga lover. So, keep that under your hat. Keep your influences in your hat. So, for the Rolling Stones, it was about, blues. And for the Beatles, it was about R&B. So, John Lennon wants to talk about how much he liked, Jackie Wilson and all these, how much he loved Paul McCartney, how much he loved Motown and these singers. And that's cute. That's cute. You like black people. What about your hair? Let's talk about your hair and these girls chasing you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, just pure music lovers. And, their music, the catalogs reflect that. You know what I mean? And it's a huge thing, and that goes back to the 60s. These are all 60s groups, those top 5, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They made, big, especially Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and The Who in the 70s, and the Rolling Stones and The Who in the 80s, and they're still touring and stuff. But they really revered black culture, but they were remote from black culture, you know what I mean? It's a whole ocean separating them from the reality, you know what I mean? So they can, and they were free to explore that. So based off of that, more generations that came after them, people just revered just black music. So when they did rap, and British rap, the first wave of British rap was terrible. It's questionable, at best. The Cookie Crew was kind of good. They had a couple good records. Then you had Derek B, which was, he was like kind of like Chuck D and LL Cool J, and his records, he had a record called Bullet from the Gun, and it was just trying to make a LL Cool J or a Public Enemy record, and it just didn't work. It wasn't his own artist. He was just doing his own British version of an American record. Didn't work. We Papa Girl rappers were like, Salt and Pepper, or British Salt and Pepper, basically. They had their own style, but didn't really connect. The music wasn't all there. So you had that first wave, and then then trip hop connected. You had that Wild Bunch collective with Nelly Hooper and Tricky and Massive Attack. So they ended up making rap their own thing. You know what I mean? That really spoke to me. You know what I mean? It's weird. I first heard about Massive Attack through MTV, as much as we, talk down about MTV, they were at one point producing incredible blocks of music. And that's how I just kind of discovered Massive Attack, because rap radio, it was playing rap, but it wasn't, it was still a bubble. You know what I mean? It was keeping out just weird stuff. You know what I mean? And trip hop was weird. Tricky's weird looking, and it's the whole it wasn't loud and brashing in your face. It was kind of quiet. It was kind of ambient. Trip hop was. So, and then later Portishead, very strong, hip hop influence there.
Cowboy album. So,
they were just free to explore. So as long as they weren't, mimicking us, they were flourishing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of following the British kind of follow their own thing. So that's why techno and house and these black genres have just traveled over there, and they're just adored. Cults built around them, just like Japan. You know what I mean? The genuine love there, but it's because it's just so remote from the reality of it. You know what I mean?
I feel like they got more love for Juan Atkins than we do over here.
Yeah, exactly, man. Oh, absolutely. And the Detroit 3, and so yeah, techno was popping, and during that era, they're in the cusp.
Mm-hmm.
House, go-go, there was some remnants of go-go. You still had regional music, and
yeah,
Detroit was techno, house was Chicago, and you had go-go. You had bass music in Miami, and hip hop kind of absorbed everything. So you had hip house, the big hip house music movement after the Jungle Brothers and
Girl, I'll House You,
Richie Rich.
Yeah.
Did a record together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, it was just amazing. So it was just a whole nother world, man. There's just so many different sounds, and even that stuff wasn't on MTV. Like, didn't have the presence that hip hop did, but you were tuning into the underground station. You would get those tapes from Chicago. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had a cousin, or you had to go to the record store and seek those things down. They're being played in the clubs, and there was really nothing like it. You know what I mean? It was just so much great music coming from so many different sources. So I mean, yeah, this is different. The whole infrastructure, the things between here and now is totally changed. But that for me was a high point, and I guess you just had to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry you weren't, and you like what you like because that's what you're exposed to, and it's all available to you. It's all, a lot of that music is streaming. I urge everybody to seek it out.
YouTube again.
It's all there. You know what I mean? Just kind of got to break that algorithm. You know what I mean, man?
Yep. Get out of that demographic ghetto.
Get out of that demographic ghetto, man. My goodness.
Escape. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I like, for me, all the magazines that I get aren't like fucking rap mags anymore. I used to be just strictly rap mags growing up. Now I'm like, yo, Days Are Confused. I go to a international magazine spot on Penn Campus.
Yeah, no, the one on Samsung?
Yep. I go there all the time, man.
Yeah.
Arrow 50, and I get what I need from them, and it keeps me like abreast of what's going on in the world outside of here. And of course, I got the internet, so I'm never just staying inside the U.S. with my interests. I'm like looking at what's going on in the U.K., with Japan, Brazil, what's going on over here.
You just really got to work. You got to work to find things, man.
Yeah.
You got to work overtime now because it's just the stream is so heavy.
It's a lot of shit out here.
You really got to, I don't know. Just the sphere of the influences. I don't know, man. Everything's derivative to me. So, I don't know. I mean, I can get an idea where everybody's inspiration is coming from. You know what I mean? Just at first listen. Whereas before, you didn't know what, Pete Rock was listening to. You know what I mean? You really wanted to find out what his library was, what he was pulling from, what his influences were.
What?
Whereas everybody's kind of influenced by what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness, the whole story is a whole other. P-Rock is his own genre. Everybody, just so many artists. It's amazing. That's why I like to stream, because I can go to YouTube and the algorithm will find maybe 5 or 6 rap videos from groups I never heard of from like 95, 97 that had the horn loop and, you know, the dusted beat. They had that P-Rock sound. You know what I mean? It's like a fascinating thing to me. So as much as I tried to keep on top of everything, I was in Iowa, so I could only see so much. I was trying to gobble it all up, you know what I mean? Trying to find whatever came down the pike I needed to be part of. I needed to find out. And I thought I was complete, but gosh, there's like a whole swaths of just 90s music I never connected with. You know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's
So,
how.
yeah, you think you know, it's what you know and what you don't know. It's like a pie graph that people can draw up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what you know, it's what you know you don't know. And most of the pie graphs is what you don't know you don't know. Does that make any sense?
It does. I mean, because mind you, like growing up.
At 1:52
Oh shit! Is that late?
yeah.
Damn, how long have you been recording for? Oh,
No.
don't
You
even
got
matter.
memory in that thing?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Got the gig.
Check the joint out.
This got to be a 2-parter, man. SoundCloud ain't gonna let you put that up.
Yeah. No, but no, we'll see.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean that's how I found out about the Knots. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
The Knots and World Renown, because of me going through like streaming and finding like artists I was never heard of before, and I found out about them. So yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's like, and then it just seems that people don't want to know. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or they act like they don't have time. You know what I mean? To explore,
All
which is
facts.
weird. Yeah. Did I break that down properly though?
Yeah, you did.
I don't want to like play it back and like that makes no sense.
It's gonna make tons of sense.
It's what you know you don't know, and then what you don't know is like just such a vast thing, man. So yeah, man, it's an amazing thing. The information age, you have access to a lot, man.
Information age, misinformation age. Sometimes the streams cross.
It's crazy, man.
It is.
Going
man.
back to the we started this conversation on some nerd stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, man. Yeah, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I used to read it when I was like 10 years old. Same year I discovered hip hop, and I'm just like, okay, so
same year I was born, yo.
A gadget in your pocket that gives you access to the collected knowledge of the universe.
Man,
imagine that.
That was in '84.
1984, man. Well, it came out in '79. It was a radio show, but God, I'm so nerdy right now. But yeah, you know what I mean. And then just the concept that was just mind blowing. It's like, no way I'm going to see anything like that in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And I have it, and we don't take advantage of it. You take it to look for what you're looking for. You know, you're not really taking it to explore.
Word up.
You know what I mean? It's hip hop, man. You got to dig.
Hip-hop.
So many records you're not going to find.
Look, I'm
10% of the albums created in your lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even try. It's like if I find a sound I like, I'll travel the line to find more of that sound. Mm-hmm. But I know I can't consume everything. I know I can't do that. It's just not feasible right now.
Huge swaths of music, man.
Yeah, so much shit out here.
Hours. Like, yeah, be selective, and you entitled to what you like, but just. It's definitely worth exploring. Not dispose of our culture. You know what I mean?
Indeed, man.
Don't cheapen yourself.
It's like you said, man. I'm just gonna be out here, man, just jamming more Mace records. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I mean,
but see, I get what you're saying, man. There's a lot out here, though.
I mean, I just want to find out. I got access to Harlem World. I can,
Hey, man, Harlem World's all around you, bro.
And the second one when he went off to
Double Up.
Justify My Love beat.
Yo, I love that song, man. That's
I was listening to it. I said, okay, I kind of like the beat a little bit. I don't like Mace at all, but I like this beat. And then he went off and said, 1, 2,
3, 4, 1, 4. Everybody on the floor.
That's the murder Mace I heard about. Yo.
You see ground will see paper. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Mace.
That I like. You know, that connected. You know what I mean?
Double up, baby. But yeah, man.
Double up. Yeah. Gosh, man, where's Nelly? I never thought Nelly would fall. I hate Nelly. I never thought he would fall off. He was everywhere. He was just like, that streak was just unbelievable.
It was, but he went from 2000 to like 2005.
It's scary. It's a scary thing,
Or
man.
2007. But yeah, it was like, because again, that was that backlash again.
Oh, yeah.
To being like, hey, now we get back to this trap music. We thugged out again.
Yeah.
But then look at people now. They're not thugged out. They're drugged out. You know what I'm saying? But,
Yeah.
Tis the season.
You know. And then there's like, the backlash to falling off. Like, we're your team. We're dedicated. We're your label. We're dedicated to making sure you don't fall off.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to make sure a lot of people don't get on.
They don't do a good job with that shit.
Yeah, really don't. But it's bad.
This the name of the game is just.
So yeah, man, stop arguing about hip hop in 2018 and try to make a new genre. You know what I mean?
Please do.
Please turn off the 4/4. First, turn off the 808. Then if you can, change the time signature up, that would be amazing.
Dude.
I don't care what you do. Just don't be boring.
Tell him again, Chief.
Man, what you do, just don't be boring. Stop being influenced by other people, by your peers. Stop copying your peers. Be your own thing. Be Prince Paul.
No doubt. Be Prince Paul.
Be Prince Paul, man. That photo, I ain't gotta put my scarf on.
It's all good, man. We want a picture with a scarf on?
Well,
No doubt. This is all live here on the podcast. 1:52 in the morning, and we're not. Whatever. You'll hear it when you hear it. It'll be live then. I promise you. All right, wait for my man to get the scarf right. Wait a minute. And here we go. Something for the people from the streets.
Hot dog.
But yeah, man. My main man Ron came through and dropped some serious gems on me.
Yeah.
I learned some things, man.
Yeah. I think somebody died on this podcast for the first time. We flew in, we died. That's what's up, man.
Fly or die. You have options.
1984, man.
That's right.
Heck of a year.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Tears for Fears. Everybody rules the world.
Still got that UTFO. Yeah. Got the same copy, man.
Roxanne.
Yeah. Hanging out. Roxanne was the B-side. Think nobody knows it.
Girl, I want to be your man. Yeah.
Cool. Want to be your man.
That was my dude. That dude was the funniest.
Fairy Tale Lover, though, man. They played that forever on Power 99.
Jesus. Didn't one of the dudes die this year?
Yeah. Educated rapper.
Yeah, Educated Rapper. I remember Educated Rapper. It was the Dr. Cool Ice.
Dr. Ice
Dr.
had a
Ice.
really good record, solo record, underrated. It was a record. It wasn't great, but it's worth exploring. It's funny. It's a funny record.
Did they come out like 89 or something like that?
Yeah, the Mike Stalker. Yeah.
Because there was one video of a guy in a doctor's outfit who like rapping on stage. And he slid down like a banister and jumped off the steps. And I didn't know who that was.
I don't know about that one. I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
But he did I think he did a cover of Hey Love or something like that.
Of course he would.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he would.
King's Son, Hey Love, man. You just shout out just names for it. Do a podcast. We just shout out artists' names as they come to us.
Yep.
That'd be the You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Man.
See, now I say that and we can't think of anybody.
I can't. See what I see? Probably because 152 and 1, my brain just shut down.
A name a rapper. Did I say King Son? You said King Son already.
You said King Son, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Name a rapper. Mike, name a rapper.
Name a rapper?
Yeah.
That's not Mace.
He said Mace.
Q-Tip.
We said Q-Tip already.
Alright, shit.
Name a girl. Justin Warfield.
Who's Justin Warfield?
Justin Warfield. Rapper. Ice Water. Nubian Mob. That's my collection, man. That's me and my brother's collection.
Oh, so you probably got like J-Zone in your collection.
Got James O's book.
Got his book too, yeah. It's dope.
It's a great book. I play his music. I stream his music. Yeah, we said the nonce, man. So yeah, that's the starting point.
Now it's world renowned.
Casual's record, front to back. This is a solid record. He might have a couple of duds on it.
He's hieroglyphics or like a Hyro affiliate.
93-2 Infinity, front to back. Solid record. No duds. Only as good as your weakest track. And there's they're pretty solid tracks front to back. Hyro, man.
Great group. Far Side's Bizarre Route to the Far Side was dope. I liked Lab Cab in California too.
Dilla, man. That's Jay Dilla's debut.
Yep.
Dilla was so good. Everybody forgot how to make their own. That was another falling off point, man. Everybody started making Dilla records.
Yep.
Started making records at tempo. Started losing their face. They're supposed to be underground. Supposed to be flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes from all directions, man. It's not just the shiny suits. You know what I mean? You just can't blame Diddy, man, for the sameness.
Definitely can't.
Everybody had that Dilla thump, 2005.
After he died, it got ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not as big of a Dilla fan like I used to be because of that reason. Like
it was also a nightmare after 2000. Cause you had K7 and Ninja Tune. You have all these labels, and that whole end of it was just so hard to navigate for me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of dancing, electronic experimental music, just because it didn't have a face. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it was all producer oriented. You had Amp on MTV, so they did do early electronic music, and just a lot of the music didn't have you knew the name, but it's just hard to remember those names. You couldn't ask the DJ, and nothing had a lyric. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's just further exploration. A lot of those records will speak to you. You just don't know how to find them at all. It's gonna be frustrating.
And the Ninja Tune was started by Cold Cut, and the Cold Cut made one of my favorite jams. The Poly 99 I used to play at night. The one joint that featured the King Louis song from Jungle Book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I love that mix, dude. Because it would go from this would be how those songs would go in that Poly 99 mix. Right. It'll be that song, Money Talks. One joint, Dirty
Cash.
Dirty Cash. Yeah, mm-hmm. Money Talks. Then we're going to Misha Legs, Keep Watching. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to the Cold Cut joint. But it would mainly just play the section that involved the King Louis joint.
Right.
Then after that, it would go on to something else. But that was
funny. All the music I was rallying against. Mm-hmm. I very rarely called Power 99 because I knew that enough people were going to call and request, raw bass or whatever that they were going to play, whatever was hot that week. So I never really called in, but I was kind of rooting for it. Then, I just had to go back and listen to all the R&B that I was fronting on at the time. That I really didn't like at the time. I wanted to hear rap, and then, missing on a lot of great songs. Because even when we turn off WDAS, all that's what I listen to. So, there's definitely an emotional attachment to that music as well.
Right.
So I had to go back and seek all that once that's how I spent a lot of time digging when I fell out of favor with hip hop. In the last 10, 15 years, you know what I mean? Stop seeking so much of this and say, okay, well, what else? What did I miss out on back in the day?
Right.
I need that in my life. I need the Sherelle albums. I need Jimmy. And then I go back and find out that, Trevor Horn, of all the rap records all the non-rap records in my collection, Trevor Horn produced half of them. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis produced like the other half. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I had non-rap 50%, like skewed like 50-50, and the other producers maybe. I'm exaggerating, of course, but so I got, and it always got back to the actual producers and got back to the music, even more so than the vocalists, and that's what really matters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just that the vocalist or rapper is just an instrument. Which goes back to again the Black Thought. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Black Thought, for all the people saying it's best to ever do it. Then why don't more people recognize that? Why did it take a 10-minute freestyle over Mobb Deep to And I think it's because it's just the Black Thought as an element in a really unique, popular, hip hop entity, which is the Roots. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Before the Roots, there's there's been other hip hop bands. Dig, long enough I can think of them, but Sonic is the main one, and that was just because they had a live drummer. You know what I mean? More than anything else, they didn't even have the full brass section. They brought it in on certain records, but it was all about the live drums for Sonic. So as far as full rap bands are concerned, he's an element in it. He's the best rapper, but it's Questlove's whole image, the afro and all that's what people connect to the Roots. Right. Before anything else, it's Quest's afro, and people always pick up on weird things. All right. So the Beatles were mop tops, and then people eventually, learn to love their music, but they're always about the image. Right. Image first, music second. This is a theme that keeps coming up again and again and again. So, yeah, you have full band, you have brass, you got keys, you have a tuba player. And, he's never recognized as a front man. That would be, Questlove's always considered front man of the Roots. Mm-hmm. And so he's just another element in that. And you really have to listen, check for him, and even in his own recordings for Black Thought. Mm-hmm. And, once you check for him, you will realize that. But it's very telling that, he had a solo 10-minute freestyle for that to shine through. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's the why there. You know what I mean? Nobody's really fronting on him. It's just in his regular element, he's just another element. You know what I mean?
Almost 30 years into his career.
Unbelievable, man.
Right.
Unbelievable how just consistent he is, and always check for Quest and what he's doing. You know what I mean? Just
Indeed.
If there's anyone who recognizes that none of this should be disposable, it's him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, you just kind of come from the same cloth in that respect. And I like his podcast because he asks a lot of the questions he asks the first questions. I hear who the guest is going to be. Said, well, if I was talking to this person, I would ask them these 5 questions tops. And he never fails to nail all 5. It's weird. So, that's that was how we ended 2017, was with that freestyle, I think. God forbid nobody gets shot in the next 3 days.
Hope not.
Although I heard Cardi B and the who's she? I don't know.
Offset.
Take Offset. It's Takeoff, Offset, and
Quavo. Quavarius Marshall.
Everybody's favorite. That's his real name?
Yep, Quavarius Marshall, yep.
Why does he even have a rap name? We should have just done the Keith Murray
the whole name?
Government name, yeah.
Yeah, because short for Quavo. Yeah.
That's amazing. See, I learned something tonight.
And he's a football phenom before he got into music.
Oh, he has a football name.
Yeah, he does. Quavarius Marshall, yo, football. Yeah, he does football.
It's like LaDainian Tomlinson. It's just like, he wasn't going to be a lawyer. And that name going to play football.
But yeah, man, he's definitely
Quavarius, nice.
Okay. Quavarius Marshall.
So, I heard about that breakup, and it kind of eclipsed the. So when are you going to watch the freestyle? It's really amazing.
I'm probably gonna watch it 3:00 this morning.
All right.
Before I go to bed, I'm gonna come back down.
You can't just watch it once. It's like a Lay's potato chip.
See, all right, I gotta watch it tomorrow morning then, cause I watch it now. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Okay.
So I wake up tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? Have my thick ass eggs and whatnot, and I'll definitely. I'm gonna have my smoothie. I have my smoothie first. Mm-hmm. Sit down, then watch like an hour and a half of Black Thought freestyle.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I'm gonna get on Facebook and be like, "Yo, I saw the greatest freestyle ever. It's Black Thought." They were like, "You're late."
That's what everybody wrote when it came up.
Yeah, just being a dick, like just.
Yeah, talking about Cardi B's dress 2 weeks before that, but
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And people going to herald it as, a new rebirth, and we do it every so often, Just like everybody says they want to take it to the next level, then they do a track with Lenny Kravitz that nobody listens to. That was a trend, back 10 years ago. It's like, okay.
Dude, everybody did a track with
If your frame of reference to, the next level is Lenny Kravitz, you need to, I want to do some Lenny Kravitz shit. Like, what? Why don't you, do some Stu stuff, huh? Do some HR. Do a track of HR. How about that?
15 years ago, I remember Hov did a track with Lenny Kravitz.
Did he? See, I never listened to it.
Yep, he did his own Blueprint.
I know Busta did.
True Joint.
Never listened to that one either.
Pharrell and Diddy did Show Me Your Soul for the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack.
Uh-huh.
But as far as anybody else, nah. Maybe they did, but I didn't listen.
So, what's the remedy? Go analog. Got to go back to analog.
Mm-hmm.
You got to configure things your own way. Then, you can do whatever you want.
Also,
that's the same thing. If it just sounds so flat to me, man.
Also, I would say invest in yourself, but not just financially. Just also give yourself a chance to get outside the box, escape that demographic ghetto that you're in.
Definitely travel, see how,
mm-hmm.
culture, how removed you've been from this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
How removed you yourself, just because it comes from your country, you don't really have a claim on it. You gotta love it. You gotta put time in.
Facts.
That's the remedy, man.
It's like make a change for yourself as an artist, as a consumer of music. Different ways to approach it, but I feel like if you truly just do the work, you'll find a better meaning in it than just sitting there and letting shit happen.
If you don't have a voice, proper voice, if your voice is flat, ghostwrite. But if you can write, find somebody that has a voice. You ghostwrite for them.
Don't let Wyclef produce your first album. All jokes.
I don't know what. I gotta listen to it again. So I'm gonna listen to it on the way home.
With the cannabis joint.
Can I bust? I gotta listen to it again.
Damn. But his first Wyclef's fucking first album he did was dope. But that cannabis album was like wow.
Yeah, it was. Is this a very? I mean, I enjoy listening to it because it's just such a. I really can't. I really want to. Really wish I was in the room when it was all going down. Like,
fly on the wall. What the fuck is this? What is this?
I always have Get Retarded.
Yeah, it's always gonna be a classic out here.
In my mind, it's not even like it's just a bizarre thing, man.
I love it. It's on a few songs on his album that I like.
Mm-hmm.
That and Niggonometry. Just funny ass name for a song. And that was going on. I didn't listen.
Buckingham Palace. Why is this song?
I'm mad you mentioned that. Song popped in my head before you said it, and I ignore that song every time I play it.
Buckingham Palace.
I skip it.
Yeah, he mentions Buckingham Palace at the top of it, and I don't know.
Or if it plays, it just plays in the background while I'm like doing something else that I can't reach the phone in time. Like if I'm in the bathroom, I'm like, God damn it, I gotta sit through this.
Yeah, that was part of the whole, the Godfather music era too, man. The Wu Gambinos.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They didn't really like. No, that everybody was doing it.
Well, they were doing Scarface music.
Yeah.
But it's Mobb Deep, but nah, it's Mines.
Deep and the Firm. And
yeah, everybody was on that, or the Casinos.
And you kind of lost me there. Everybody kind of lost me there, and I was like, okay, I don't think it's going to get any better from here on out. A few highlights. There's always highlights. It's always going to find you, man. Thank goodness for Odd Future.
Yeah. All those weirdos out there in music. Thank you for being weird.
Shout out to MF Doom too, man. Greatest second career in hip hop.
Yeah. Zev Love X came back as MF Doom and shut the shit down.
He's unbelievable. Just jaded, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the energy's not in his voice, but it makes sense because he's been rapping for 30 years. So he's just jaded and still an entity there. And
sounds dope.
Yeah, dope is the word. Shout to JJ. Shout to Gennaro Jarrell if you're listening.
Yo, Gennaro Jarrell is the homie. I had time to kick it with him down in New Orleans when he was there.
Right, man. You left. You left at one point.
Yeah, I did.
Think about that, man.
Yeah, man.
Left and came back.
Left and came back to a city that I quickly got over. I was
you back over that, man?
Well, I'm over this being back in Philly because like when I got back here, I was just like, oh man, I'm back here already.
You'll talk about that thread, man. You put up. That's deep, man. It's not a hip hop thing, but it's dating. Dating in Philly.
Oh, dating in Philly. Oh, that's another podcast altogether. But nah, I wasn't. Nah, being over my situation from New Orleans. Let's keep it $150 because you're here now.
Yeah,
might as well say it.
Oh, you're saying it to me. You're saying it to America.
Saying it to the world.
And
it's like, look, man. You know, I moved on. You know, had my life where I thought I wanted to have it, but I'll tell you right now, a part of me is still in that situation. Yeah. Not in New Orleans, the city. I still love the city. Don't get me wrong, but it's part of me still in that place. And people might be saying maybe that's why you can't. You know, the dating thing in Philly is kind of funny for you. I said it's really not because there's nothing here that's been like mind blowing to the point I'm like, oh my God, I gotta keep dating here because this is where it's going. Nah, man, I don't do nothing here. That's why I don't date anybody here. I chill out, be in my apartment on the YouTubes.
Wow.
Watching puppy videos, god damn it.
Oh my goodness. Even the puppies, man.
Shout out the dogs, man. Love them dogs, man. But nah,
okay.
I'm just I been chilling, man. Huh?
Some dogs ain't going to save you.
I know they're not going to save me, cuz.
Ain't going to save you.
I know he's not going to save me, cuz. You know, we can save each other, goddammit.
Yeah,
but nah, but like for real, I just been chilling, man. New Orleans was an interesting situation because it taught me a lot. It grew a lot in a short amount of time. I'll get into it more on a dating podcast. But like, yeah, man, I'm back in the city of Philadelphia. Been here since like 2014. Awesome. Back in the mix. You know, just staying to myself, doing dope-ass podcasts with dope-ass people like my homie right here across with me on the couch. You know what I mean? And that's it. Dope people, bro.
I try.
Hey, man, we all try.
Try to keep a good, clean heart. And nice to people.
That's how you gotta do it.
Cut a lot of people off.
I do the same thing, too, because people annoy me.
A lot of people died.
Yo, they didn't fly.
They didn't fly.
They died.
They definitely died. 1984.
Fly or die.
2014, 2018.
Yep, we're all flying right now. People have died in the making of this.
It's the casualties, heavy casualties, man.
That's right. They gotta get out of here. They gotta go on because they can't stay around here.
That's right.
You're flying around here.
That's right, man.
This is gonna sound hilarious once it's all recorded out there. I'm keeping everything I'm saying in the podcast.
I'm not listening to that. I lived it.
You lived it. I lived it.
We lived it, and now you get to live it.
Yep, and I gotta chop it up, edit it, because like this is probably a good a lot of hours. So I'm gonna make sure
it's gonna be like a 2-parter probably.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 2-parter.
Oh Lord.
Then I gotta do an episode for Young Lady. I'm recording it on Friday, so that's gonna be fun.
Did we resolve anything? Since it's a 2-parter, yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, we did. We resolved things, came back, remixed it, and made it good.
Yeah, don't book. Well, you'll never book Gang Starr again. But yeah, if you do in the afterlife, don't book K-Slay ahead of them. Yeah, Nita Peoples had a TV show in the 90s called The Party Machine. It was good.
Yes, she did.
It was a really good thing.
She was fun as hell, man. What happened to her, yo?
Fat Boy Swatch ad, the Fruity Pebbles ad I didn't bring up, but you all know about that one.
Yeah, people's fun.
Oh my goodness, Debbie Harry on SNL with the Funky 4+1. We didn't talk about that.
Debbie Harry, Blondie, Rapture fame, dope as fuck.
I hope you hear this 3x5 card. Oh,
Serious, I had a whole stack over there, yo.
Yep. Nope. Yep. I made a list of the first families, the first ladies. Lil' Kim, Rod Digger. Oh, Rod Digger.
She was another good one.
First lady.
Her voice is unique.
Did not thrive on sex rap. She was the exception there.
Bars.
Remy Ma don't listen to enough of. Did she do a lot of sex rap?
No, she's bars.
Oh, she's bars. Okay, good. So we won't include her in that. Apologies to her. Talked about his. Yeah, man, we good.
But it happened. We went through some cards here. We added some more material. We gave you everything.
Yeah,
and
Black American Hated Rap. 227 was BS. Coach War in the 80s. Power 99. Yeah, man. I think we did good. I think I'm satisfied.
This is definitely like a bonus episode on top of other episodes that you're going to listen to and you're going to enjoy because
it's
this is
an
what we do.
endurance episode, so if you're still with us at this point, email. The password is Hyrule. So email Mike with Hyrule, and he will send you a prize for enduring this long into the podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a prize. I'm going to send you a thank you in Helvetica and a fucking email. Like, thank you for listening.
Put it in Comic Sans.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, everybody loves Comic Sans.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, man, we made it, man.
We did it.
No doubt. Cheers, yo.
Months in the planning.
Yeah, months indeed.
All right.
Came here from LA to PA. Philip, PHI, whatever, fuck. All right, y'all. This is the end of
one last thing.
Oh, yeah, what's going on?
So, so I cut you off from the beginning. So the doctor said rectum. I hardly knew him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yo, all right. Yeah, so guys, another episode of 1984 Fly Down Podcast. We're flying. People are dying, and we're not dying. We're flying. All right, catch y'all next time, yo.
Next time.
Peace. And we're not dying. We're flying.
Yo, win.